Hello, welcome back, and welcome back to Fast Hayter Part 4. As you can see, I've got the engine out. I took it out last night. But, well, I didn't bother filming it just because it takes twice as long to do it, and that wasn't exciting, you know. So yeah, what I did then, I took the bolts out the back and the bolt out the top. I've left the front bracket on, as you can see here, front mounting bracket over there. I've left that on, and I've left the sump guard on as well, just for it to be easier. Because I loaded it, unbolted it all, and then took it off the motocross lift and loaded it down with a jack. So I thought that would protect the bottom of the engine a bit. But the only problem I've got is I've lost the bolts for the carb and the shims for the exhaust. They've got to be in somewhere. I have to sweep up. They're not in the sweep up, and yeah. I remember putting them to one side, thinking to myself, make sure I don't lose them. And they're the two bits I can't find this morning. That's typical, isn't it? Never mind, plenty of time to sort them out. But it's out. So if you use a Honda CG engine for doing the same sort of thing, or an engine out of a Honda CG, it won't have this bracket here at the top, because this is for dirt bikes. It's just to give it a little bit more support. So I've got to take the bracket off of the frame, because I'm going to use that bracket as well. We might as well support the top of the engine as soon as we've got something there to support it, you know. We've got a cast in there. But if you haven't used a normal CG engine, it wouldn't have that. That's only for dirt bikes. But it's all there. I'll show you in a minute what we're going to take off of the lift fan. What's left, and there's loads of little bits I want to take off. So whatever, I don't know whether I'll get it in here or I'll take it outside to where it is. I just shoved it out the door last night. I was up past 11 when I finished, so I'd had enough. Right, as you can see, that's what it looks like without the engine. I'm going to take all the wiring loom out, all the relays, starter solenoid, bits and pieces of regulator, all the electrics. Got to come off. Lights, everything's got to come off like that. Just gonna, so I'm going to use the original wiring loom as much as I can and adapt it to suit. So I just took the front part off the exhaust. Coil's got to come off. Well, like I say, everything electrical. So I'm going to label it up. That's a job for Heidi. Because I label up, everything will fall off, all the labels will fall off. So we'll do that together. Brakes coming off, because I'm going to reuse the brake and the caliper. The idea is to reuse all that if I can. Back end the exhaust has got to come off, obviously. I'm going to have to cut that about, and I'll use that silencer. I think that's probably about it. I think I'll keep the rear light as well, because I've got another one in there. I might be able to put a pair of them on there. Okay, so I've just shut the body on this for now, just to keep everything sort of together, really. But yeah, it's not really a lot to. So handlebars are going to come off as well, and the clocks. I don't know, like I say, everything electrical is coming off. So that's what it's set. It's what it is, isn't it? Things like the petrol tank, casings for the petrol tank, you know, the plastic fairings. I'm just going to chuck them on eBay. Because I ain't got use for them. I ain't got use for that sort of petrol tank. So I'll be chucking that on eBay, and probably the rack, I'm not too sure. And maybe other bits. And then Right, hopefully you can see it's not too dark in here. It's right overcast outside now. That's the plan. So the engine, that's where the engine is planning to go. Or I'm planning to put it, I should say. It's been a long day. Yeah, but obviously that's now sitting probably about 4 or 5 inches too high, even though I measured it about 20 times before I took it out. And I knew it was about an inch or two, or a couple of inches over, but yeah, so it's a bit well too high for the bonnet. So the good thing is that means I'm definitely going to cut the chassis out, and I'm going to try to make some sort of space frame to hold it. The frame will probably only be a couple of inches lower down, but then what I'm going to be able to do is drop the engine through the space frame, or through the chassis, and probably use the original mounts and have the engine lower down. But obviously it's got to be dropped, so change at a decent angle for the axle. A lot more work than what I thought was going to have to be put into the chassis, because originally what I was going to do is just put it on a cradle, and then build a chassis, you know, put it on, you know, build it that way. But it is sort of a lot higher than what I sort of thought. Like I say, it's job to work, measure things sometimes. It's obviously got the sump guard still on it, so that's about an inch higher than what it should be. Maybe a bit more than that with the rubbers and everything on it, but yeah, it's still a lot higher than what I thought. So like I say, we'll cut the chassis off. I'll make another chassis. I'll make a wider one as well, a wider chassis to go on the back of it, so it will come down to this, because it obviously, as you know from the earlier videos, the chassis slopes. So I've been a bit worried about how to join them and get the strength, keep the strength in there, because all the weight is obviously going to be going to like the centre of the chassis. But now by dropping the chassis a bit, I can brace it a lot better. So I'm not so worried about it now. I just need to design it. I'll show you from the back, and that'll give you a clue of how much it sticks up. But remember the bonnet bit of this, it sort of comes straight and then drops at the end. So it's not as bad as what this slope is up the side of it, if you know what I mean. The bonnet's over there, I don't know if you can see it. You understand what I'm saying. So the bonnet actually sort of goes straight with the back. So yeah, I'll show you from around the back. It might make more sense to you. Get a decent, blurred. That looks blurred from here, but I don't know. As you can see how much it sticks up. It's probably not as bad as what it actually looks on the camera by looking at this. But the advantage is by dropping it down low, I can drop it the better, because because of the weight of it, but the other thing is there's more chance of air getting through the back of it, you know, through underneath it, to help cool it. And then because I'm going to make the chassis, make a lot of space frame, this bit of metal here, that can then go, because that'll be supported by the chassis will be coming up into like a frame, and that can be replaced with a bit of mesh or something so the air can come through, you know. But if you understand what I'm saying. But, I'm sort of rushing this bit out because I had filmed it, but I thought it didn't make a lot of sense, so these probably don't either. But at least it's in there. You can see what I'm trying to get at, what I'm trying to aim at now. I can anyway. It makes it a lot better for me. Right, so hopefully you can see what I'm trying to do now. And yeah, it's got me keen now. Now I've got that there, and I can sort of see in my head what I want to do, you know. So coming up soon, I'll be in the next video on it, or one after that, something like that. I'll get Heidi to get some screwdrivers and some spanners and take the wiring loom off of the lift fan. She'll probably end up just chucking the screwdrivers and that at me. No. But yeah, if you like this sort of stuff, subscribe and ring the bell and all the usual sort of stuff. Give it a thumbs up, it'd be nice. Share it, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy.